understand. Our culture is one of, it's one of lethality, okay, audacity, and creativity. And I usually lay it out as I want creative people. Doesn't have to be complicated, okay? Doesn't have to be a new thing. Maybe it's an old thing used in a new way, but I need them to be creative, and they are, right? Because that's how we hire them. We recruit, assess, select, train people to be creative.
Sometimes too creative.
Sometimes, every now and again. So I want them to be creative. I want them to be audacious, all right? And by that, I mean understanding how to view, assess, mitigate risk, right? There's a difference between recklessness and audacity. Audacity is understanding what the risks are, understanding what the trades are, understanding what your formation's capabilities are, and saying, we're going to take this move. It's point de hoc. It's scaling the cliffs at point de hoc, right? To use that great Ranger analogy. It's jumping, it's putting Virginia Hall into France for months on end. It's jumping the Jeds in the night before. It's jumping the 82nd and 101st in the night before the D-Day invasion. That's audacity. So I want them to be creative, and I want them to be audacious. And then I want them to be lethal. All right? And that gets to the fundamental underpinning, all three of those, that's the fundamental training underpinning for all of our formations, whether it's the SF groups, whether it's our civil affairs folks, whether it's our PSYOPs folks, or it's our sustainment brigade. All of those folks, I want them to all think that way. Now, they're gonna focus on different levels, or they're going to focus differently on each one of those based on what they do, right? I don't need the fuelers in the 528th to be going out and doing fire and maneuver all the time, but I darn sure want them to know how to employ their weapon systems, to be confident and comfortable that if they get in a pickle somewhere, they can fight their way out of it, you know? And so that's what we do at our headquarters when you talk about certifying, validating, and deploying, and the organized, train, and equip responsibility. Look, it's a sacred duty. I love what I do because I know that I'm responsible. Because if something goes sideways forward, they're going to come asking me and the two gentlemen that were here before, the CSM and the Command Chief Warrant Officer, hey, you guys said these guys were ready. What happened? I take that very, very seriously. And because I owe it to our formation, I owe it to their families, I owe it to the Army, I owe it to the nation to make sure that we're giving them the time, the tools, the resources to prepare so that they've got the foundation of fighting and winning our nation's wars wherever they go. And then the group is responsible for continuing to refine and tailor their capabilities for a specific AOR. I don't need 7th group learning how to drive snow machines, and I don't need 10th group focused on the jungle. But when the time comes and we end up going and fighting for 20 years in the desert, well, I'm going to need some folks, a cadre from that group that has got experience there. Like right now, it would be 3rd and 5th group still, right? And 7th group too. They spend a lot of time in Afghanistan, so that we can spread that knowledge very quickly. But that's where you get back to the culture of creativity and audacity. If we've got those folks in our formation, then they're going to be able to adjust and adapt to the theater's specific requirements if we do have to start weighting our effort toward one specific theater, if that makes sense.